The nation of Israel should have rejoiced when God set them free from that bondage in Egypt. He crushed the hand of their oppressor, and no longer could the Pharaoh hold them back to do his work because God was calling them to do his work. What a blessing it was that God was with them in the wilderness, that he was in that Shekinah glory, in that cloud during the day, in the fire during the night. He was the one leading them. But they complained against God. They wanted to go back to the bondage in Egypt. Why did they want to go back? Because that bondage, that slavery, even though they hated it, it gave them security. It gave them food and water. And they didn't want to trust God just every day to bring them their water, their food, and their security. This whole scenario is repeating itself. God is bringing his judgment on the world. He's calling his true children out of the bondage. And what should our reaction be? Should our reaction be, no, God, stop doing this. Don't call us out of the world. We want our security. We want everything to be as it always was. Should our reaction be crying and mourning like the merchants of the world? Because that is their reaction. Listen to Revelation chapter 18. The merchants of these things who became rich by her will stand at a distance for fear of her torment, weeping and wailing. So the reaction of the world to God's judgment is sorrow. But what should our reaction be? Read Revelation 18, verse 20. Rejoice over her, O heaven, and you holy apostles and prophets, for God has avenged you on her. We should be rejoicing that God is bringing his judgment on the wicked and that he is protecting his children. He's giving his children everlasting life. Remember that God was in that cloud. He was in that fire. He is the Shekinah glory. And if we are with Jesus, we can rejoice that the judgment of God is coming upon the wicked because he is calling his children out of the world, out from the bondage. Will we be like the nation of Israel who detested their own God, who said, give us back to our oppressor? Just let us go back to Egypt. Or will we find security in our God? Will we run to our God for our protection, for our provision, for everything that we need? Will we run to God, or will we run back to men, back to the government, back to the system? Do you trust Jesus Christ, or do you trust Satan?